And welcome to day 22 of the Atlantic Hurricane season, day 40 in the Eastern Pacific, and that's where we have two new invests at the moment. Invest 94E, which currently has a medium chance of development, and 95E, which currently has a low chance of development in the Eastern Pacific. In the Western Pacific, action going on here as well. What's left of Leapy still going through Japan. Bebinca is the current storm expected to strike China as a tropical storm, and two invests out there as well. So here we are with a packed, annotated satellite image here. You can see all the current systems, most of them in the tropical region, all the invests, 94E, 95E, 95W, 96W, and of course Storm Bebinca, Fabian, the Philippine name, expected to strike China in the next 12 to 24 hours. And looking at the Atlantic image, you can see the remnants of Barry still over Mexico at the moment, still producing rainfall over there at the moment, but nothing else going on in the Atlantic as of yet. No systems that are looking like they're going to develop anytime soon, and indeed nothing suggested from the computer models over the next 5 days or so. The Indian Ocean, very similar as well, fairly quiet here. You can see what's left of Invest 97S, which formed a few days ago off the Indonesian coastline, but that's really not going to develop down there at this time of year. And in the North Indian Ocean, not much going on there either. The sea surface temperatures then getting warmer in the Eastern Pacific and indeed in the Gulf of Mexico, where we're seeing a few temperatures above 30 degrees, especially off the Mexican and Louisiana coasts. Looking towards the Central and Eastern Pacific, which we'll be looking towards later in the year, water's warming up fairly nicely here, 26 degrees towards the tropical region. The Northern Indian Ocean very warm, 30 degrees along the coastline, same too for the Philippine coastlines as well, 30 degree waters or more, stretching up to Taiwan as well. So here's Tropical Storm Bebinca, Philippine name Fabian at the moment, currently the wind speeds of 40 miles per hour, pressure of 996 millibars. Its current position 19.8 north, 112.8 east as of 9 PM on June 21st UTC, and is expected to weaken to a tropical depression after passing Hainan and the Chinese mainland, and make landfall along the Vietnam, perhaps near the Chinese border, as a tropical depression in around a day or in a day's time. And this storm is not expected to last very long once it makes landfall, but we do have signal number 3 warnings in effect for Hong Kong and Macau at the moment. That means that we may see some gale force winds striking these areas, but nothing too major, I shouldn't imagine, and especially rainfall wise, where most of the clouds are located to the southwest of the storm. Rain warnings and advisories are still in effect for parts of central Honshu in Japan as a result of Tropical Storm Leapy, which is currently moving away from the area. That's what's left of it anyway, the remnants. So let's take a look at the Eastern Pacific now. We have two storms that are likely to develop probably in the next few days. 60% chance now on Invest 94E as of 1 AM UTC. BST rather, midnight UTC, and 30% chance for Invest 95E. This is the current track forecasts over the next 5 days or so, and we currently have Invest 94E expected possibly to become a hurricane over the next few days, and Invest 95 being at least a tropical storm according to the computer models. But this is a track forecast. Invest 94 moving off to the west-northwest, and Invest 95 not likely to move much over the next few days. Take a look at the latest frames then of the satellite imagery here in the Western Pacific. You can see Tropical Storm Bebinca. The centre is just a little bit to the northeast of the actual clouds that are associated with the storm towards the southwest there, and that will likely strike Hainan and probably cause quite a lot of rainfall over there, and indeed in northern Vietnam and central Vietnam as well. We'll probably have some rainfall here. Invest 94E then, the floater imagery here, you can see the storm currently trying to develop, and it's probably succeeding as well. You can see it's certainly getting more dense in its cloud cover, and has a 60% chance of development now according to the National Hurricane Centre as of midnight UTC, and that is likely to develop according to the computer models into a significant tropical storm. Same too with Invest 95E, up to a 30% chance from 20% as it was before. That's what I was going to say at the start of the bulletin, but it did change what I was narrating, and you can see it here currently moving perhaps a little bit slowly to the west-northwest direction, and struggling to develop at the moment, but that probably will change and it will probably end up forming very soon. That's according to the computer models. Here you can see them. The CMC model first of all has the storm developing. Invest 94 first of all developing into the main storm, and then Invest 95 probably going on for the ride and being absorbed by Invest 94 later on. The ECMWF I believe predicts a similar scenario. Oh no, it just predicts the Invest 94 forming. But that's rather interesting. It doesn't predict Invest 95 forming, most of the other computer models do, but still a significant storm from Invest 94 there at the moment. And the GFS model predicts both storms to form as well, and eventually Invest 95 getting absorbed there by Invest 94, which seems a little bit interesting, especially if the Bell's tropical storms at that stage, so we'll see what happens with that one. And the NavGen model as well predicts a tropical storm coming out of Invest 94E, and perhaps predicts Invest 95E to move a little bit further away. I think it might be that little bit towards the southwest at the end of that one. Let's take a look now at the overall predicted season scores for June the 22nd. A few scores have gone up or indeed down with the new storms recently. Ken with 105 in first place, the only one above 100 now. Typhoon Bopa in second with 97, and Hurricane Melissa 20 with 95 points in third place. Don't forget you can submit your own storm totals at the website force13.com/interactive.html, and that'll take you straight to the interactive page, and you can click on the 2013 predicted season page, which will take you straight to the submission forms. And it's certainly not too late to submit your season at the moment. There's still plenty of points up for offer because it's still fairly early in the season. What happened on this day then for June the 22nd? In 1960, Tropical Storm 1 formed in the Bay of Campeche. In 1968, Tropical Storm Candy formed in the Gulf of Mexico. In 1972, Agnes made landfall near New York City as a tropical storm, causing severe flooding in Pennsylvania in particular. In 1974, Tropical Depression 1 formed in the Gulf of Mexico. In 1988, Tropical Storm Bud dissipated in the Eastern Pacific. 3 years later, Blanca dissipated as well. And in 1991, another storm, I missed it there at the end. In 1992, Tropical Storm Blas and Celia both formed in the Eastern Pacific on the same day. In 1998, Tropical Storm Blas formed in the Eastern Pacific. In 1999, Hurricane Adrian dissipated in the Eastern Pacific, and in 2003, Tropical Storm Blanca dissipated in the Eastern Pacific on this day, June 22nd. There's Blas at the bottom from 1998. It went on to become a significant storm, major hurricane, I believe. In 2007, Tropical Storm Yen Yin made landfall in India. In 2009, Tropical Storm Nanka pictured, formed in the Western Pacific. In 2011, Hurricane Beatrice dissipated in the Eastern Pacific. And in 2012, Hurricane Chris turned post-tropical in the Atlantic. There you can see it pictured at its peak intensity as a hurricane in the Northern Atlantic. That was last year on June the 22nd on this day. And don't forget you can track any storm that's currently active, and indeed any more that form, on the website force13.com/stormtracking.html, and that'll take you straight to the storm tracking pages, and then you're provided with a little overview with tables at the top and bottom showing which storms are active and which warnings are in effect. I think it's quite convenient to have a little at-a-glance preview, and then you can click straight through to each individual basin to see the forecast track maps, and also any warnings and information in more detail in terms of current storms that are active and what the effects are likely to affect land over the next few days. Of course, we just had Barry, and we may have some new storms coming up in the Eastern Pacific to be tracking in the next few days. And don't forget you can visit all the social pages as well, YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Force 13 is on all of those. Just search Force 13, you'll find it fairly easily enough. And don't forget to show your support by liking, following, favoriting and subscribing to the YouTube channel in particular. That's where everything's going on at the moment. We'll have some more videos and indeed any storm updates during the day if necessary, but in the meantime we'll have bulletin number 26 that'll be coming up at midnight UTC, and if necessary there'll be some storm updates in between during the day on June 22nd, probably around afternoon UTC on June 22nd. That would be today. And of course the next bulletin's coming up tomorrow UTC, midnight UTC on June the 23rd.